Hello everyone, I have a stack of books here. These are all classics. There is a challenge on Discord. I will try to link, if I can, the Discord channel in the description box. And the goal is to read 12 classics in 12 months. So this is already one of the challenges I would like to complete in the year 2025. And I just went and grabbed a bunch of classics off of my bookshelf. You can go with older classics or more modern classics. As long as it's classified as a classic, it would count. I went with older classics, and I went all with my Penguin cloth-bound edition because they're just easier to see on the shelf. I know what they are. I know they're classics. So I just grabbed 12 random ones. So these are in no particular order. And let's go ahead and just delve right on in. So the first one I have right on top here is Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert. And the same design is on the back for all of these. So, for Madame Bovary, it says, Madame Bovary is the debut novel of French, I didn't know it was a debut, okay, of French writer Gustave Flaubert, published in 1856. The character lives beyond her means in order to escape the banalities, I'm guessing, banalities and emptiness of provincial life. When the novel was first serialized in La Revue de Paris between October 1st, 1856 and December 15th, my birthday, 1856, public prosecutors attacked the novel for obscenity. The resulting trial in January 1857 made the story notorious. After Flaubert's acquittal on the 7th of February 1857, Madame Bovary became a bestseller in April 1857. When it was published in 2 volumes. A seminal work of literary realism, this novel is now considered Flaubert's masterpiece and one of the most influential literary works in history. Still don't know what it's about other than a woman living beyond her means. Okay, next I have Middlemarch by George Eliot. The synopsis, and I'm just pulling all of these up on Goodreads, it says, people are almost always better than their neighbors think they are. George Eliot's most ambitious novel is a masterly evocation of diverse lives and changing fortunes in a provincial community. Peopling its landscape are Dorothea Brooke, a young idealist whose search for intellectual fulfillment leads her into a disastrous marriage to the pedantic scholar Casaubon. The charming but tactless Dr. Lydgate, whose pioneering medical methods combined with an imprudent marriage to the spendthrift beauty Rosamond threatened to undermine his career, and the religious hypocrite Bulstrode, hiding scandalous crimes from his past. As their stories interweave, George Eliot creates a richly nuanced and moving drama, hailed by Virginia Woolf as one of the few English novels written for grown-up people. Okay. The next one I have is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Alright, synopsis says, looks like this one's just, okay, this one's a little bit longer. You can find the redesigned, okay, I don't care about finding the redesigned cover edition. Let's see. At the center of this novel is the passionate love between Catherine Earnshaw and Heathcliff, recounted with such emotional intensity that a plain tale of Yorkshire moors acquires the depth and simplicity of ancient tragedy. Okay, I don't care about reading all about the critics, how well acclaimed it is, things like that. So, okay, we'll just leave it at that. Next in my stack is Robinson Crusoe. Oh, this is part of a series. This is number 1. The series is Robinson Crusoe. Looks like there are... It says 3 primary works. Number 2 is The Further Adventures of Robinson Crusoe. Number 3 is Serious Reflections During the Life and Surprising Adventures of Robinson Crusoe. So I'm guessing it's most likely just a duology. This was written by Daniel Defore. Okay. Daniel Defore relates the tale of an English sailor marooned on a desert island for nearly 3 decades, an ordinary man struggling to survive in extraordinary circumstances. Robinson Crusoe wrestles with fate and the nature of God. Okay. So, a stranded person. Next, I have Villette, I'm guessing is how this one is said. I'm not quite sure. But this one was written by Charlotte Bronte. This one says, let's see. Okay, so this was Charlotte Bronte's final novel. That's interesting. I've got like a hair that's bugging me. Ugh. Anyway, let's see. Reach the Height. First published in 1853. Most accomplished. Her narrator. Okay, so the narrator, the autobiographical Lucy Snow, flees England and a tragic past to become an instructor in a French boarding school in the town of Villette. There, she unexpectedly confronts her feelings of love and longing as she witnesses the fitful romance between Dr. John, a handsome young Englishman, and Ginevra Francois, a beautiful coquette. The first pain brings others, and with them comes the heartache Lucy has tried so long to escape. Yet, in spite of adversity and disappointment, Lucy Snow survives to recount the unstinging version of a turbulent life's journey. A journey that is one of the most insightful fictional studies of women's consciousness in English literature. Okay. Still not 100% sure what it's about, but that tends to be my deal with classics. I have a harder time with the synopsises. Okay, next I have Inferno by Dante. I hear more people saying it's Dante's Inferno. It's actually just Inferno by Dante. It's Dante Alighieri. Let's see. Professor Esselin's... Okay. I don't care about... Okay, this one's... I don't know who translated this particular one that I have. It's all about the translator. I want to know about Dante, or about the Inferno. Okay, it talks about what a great marrying a sense of sound. So this is a book of poetry? Capturing... Okay. Marrying the sense of sound, poetry with meaning, capturing both the poem's line-by-line vigor and its allegorically and philosophically exacting structure, yielding an inferno that will be as popular as general readers as with scholars, teachers, and students. As Dante insists without a trace of sentimentality or intellectual compromise, even hell is a work of divine art. So, poetry about hell? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's definitely poetry. Oh. Okay, so this is interesting. So this edition has Spanish on one side, English on the other. Okay, it looks like from what I can see from Goodreads, this one, which is Jabberwocky, it's written by Lewis Carroll, and looks like this is poetry. Yep, it's poetry. Okay. It says, let's see... So Lewis Carroll, over the course of almost 50 years, created 150 poems, including nonsense verse, parodies, burlesques, acrostics, inscriptions, and more. Many of them hilarious lampoons of some of the more sentimental and moralistic poems of the Victorian era. This collection contains 38 of Carroll's most appealing verses, including such classics as The Walrus and the Carpenter, The Mock Turtle Song, Father... Okay, so this is just a collection of poetry, but it's not saying what it is. Let's look. This one has Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. I didn't know that was a... I don't know. The Visitor. It's got a lot. It doesn't list them all in this. Late collections. I don't know. So, I'll see when I read it. So, a book of poetry. I guess I'm reading poetry, and a lot more poetry in 2025. This author you'll see pop up one other time, I think. Yeah, one other time. Okay. And that is Charles Dickens. This particular edition is Bleak House. Let's see. The complex story of a notorious lawsuit in which love and inheritance are set against the classic urban background of 19th century London, where fog on the river, seeping into the very bones of the characters, symbolizes the corruption of the legal system and the society which supports it. Okay, let's see. Jardins and Jardins is an infamous lawsuit that has been in process for generations. Nobody can remember exactly how the case started, but many different individuals have found their fortunes caught up in it. Esther Summerson watches as her friends and neighbors are consumed by their hopes let's see, and disappointments with the proceedings. But while the intricate puzzles of the lawsuit are being debated by lawyers, other more dramatic mysteries are unfolding that involve heartbreak, lost children, blackmail, and murder. The fog and cold that permeate Bleak House mirror a Victorian England mired in spiritual insolvency. Dickens brought all his passion, brilliance, and narrative to this huge novel of lives entangled in a multi-generational lawsuit. Oh, good to know it's multi-generational. Okay, and through it, he achieved at age 41 a stature almost Shakespearean. Okay, next I have Sandition, written by Jane Austen. It says, Sandition was Jane Austen's last novel, bequeathed unfinished to her niece. Okay, so her niece finished this. Okay, is what it's looking like. This is its completion, praised for its delicacy, wit, and discretion. When Charlotte Haywood, eldest daughter of a family of 14, is invited to stay with Mr. and Mrs. Parker of Sandition, she accepts with alacrity. Intrigued to visit the one quiet town being promoted by Mr. Parker as the newly fashionable resort for sea bathing. As a guest of the Parkers, Charlotte is introduced to the full range of Sandition polite society, from Lady Denham to her impoverished ward Clara, and from the feckless Sidney Parker to his hypocratic sisters. A heroine whose clear-sighted common sense is often at war with romance. She cannot help observing around her both folly and romance in many guises, but can she herself resist the attractions of the heart? Next, I have a chunker of a book. I don't know if this is the longest classic that I own, but it is a long one. It's over 1,000 pages. And this one is The Count of Monte Cristo, written by Alexandre Dumas. Okay. The epic tale of wrongful imprisonment, adventure, and revenge. In its definitive translation, thrown in prison for a crime he has not committed, Edmond Dantes is confined to the grim fortress of If. There he learns of a great hoard of treasure hidden on the Isle of Monte Cristo, and he becomes determined not only to escape, but also to use the treasure to plot the destruction of the 3 men responsible for his incarceration. It's an epic tale of suffering and retribution inspired by a real-life case of wrongful imprisonment, and it was a huge success when it was first serialized in the 1840s. Okay. I'm kind of seeing a pattern. There's one about, what was it? Bleak House? I don't know, something about corruption, corrupt law. Still deal with that today. Wrongful imprisonment. There are people who are wrongfully imprisoned today. So I'm seeing a theme here. Okay. Last 2 books. By Thomas Hardy, I have Jude the Obscure. Jude. Folly's hopes of a universal education are lost when he is trapped into marrying the earthly Arabella, who later abandons him. Moving to the town of Christminster, where he finds work as a stonemason, Jude meets and falls in love with his cousin, Sue Bridehead, a sensitive, free-thinking new woman. Okay, that's it. That is the synopsis. All right, the last one, and I think out of all of these, I'm most excited for this one because there is a musical adaptation, and I have seen that and absolutely love the musical adaptation. And I'm talking about Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Okay. A gripping portrayal of London's dark criminal underbelly. The story of Oliver Twist, orphaned and set upon by evil and adversity from his first breath, shocked readers when it was published. After running away from the workhouse and pompous beadle Mr. Bumble, Oliver finds himself lured into a den of thieves peopled by vivid and memorable characters. The artful dodger, vicious burglar Bill Sykes, his dog Bullseye, and prostitute Nancy, all watched over by cunning, masterful Fagin. Combining elements of Gothic romance, the Newgate novel, and popular melodrama, Dickens created an entirely new kind of fiction, scathing in its indictment of a cruel society and perverted by an unforgivable sense of threat and mystery. So, that's it. So these are the 12 classics that I want to get to in 2025. Let me know if you've read these. If you are doing this challenge, what is the classic you are most excited to try to get to in 2025? I am most excited for Oliver Twist. So I may try to read more. I do have other penguin cloth bound editions I would love to get to, but these are the ones that I will be prioritizing. Let me know if you've read any of these or any other books by any of these authors. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.